Let's take a moment to talk about taste and coffees from around the world and if they taste different. So when we talk about coffees, we talk about regions, and different regions in general have different tastes. Now there's also like sub-regions and things like that, and each one is going to have its own taste. Now if that sounds confusing to you, maybe you can compare it to wine, because you're probably more used to hearing about this from wine. Isn't it true that wines from different areas have different tastes? So a wine from Rioja, Spain is going to taste different than a wine from Bordeaux, France. And that's going to be quite a bit different from a coffee from Napa Valley in California. A wine. Got my mind just on coffee. Okay, a wine from Napa Valley. So the different regions produce different tastes. And why is that? Well, when we talk about wine, we think of, different kinds of grapes. We think of different soils, different climate. And also there's different winemaking traditions that you can find in different areas. Well, with coffee, it's a similar thing. It's not surprising that growing coffee is somewhat similar to growing grapes because it's going to be different according to what's going on. So the climate, the soil, the altitude, weather patterns, the amount of rain, things like that, they're all going to change the taste that you get in the cup. But what does that mean for you? When you go to the supermarket and you want to choose a coffee, well, what region do you choose it from? This is a vast subject. There are so many different coffee producing countries. It's really hard to just say, no, from this region, this large region, you're going to get these tastes because there's a lot of variations. But this course isn't long enough to talk about all of those variations. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to briefly mention some of the coffee growing regions, general regions in the area, and what you can expect from coffees from those regions. I'm just going to look at my notes real quick so I don't forget anything. Let's start with Central America. Coffees from Central America can be spicy, they can be fruity, and they can have a really good body. Let's go down to South America. What can you expect from South American coffees? Well, in general, from Colombia, you can expect sweet coffees. Think like raw sugar. There's going to be coffees that are mild, with good body, sometimes chocolatey and nutty, which is always nice. When you think of coffees from Brazil, you're going to think of a coffee that has medium to full body, sometimes chocolatey notes. Depending on the species, it can be a bit bitter. But in general, you're going to find really good coffees from Brazil also. Let's go over to East Africa. What can you expect from countries like Kenya or Ethiopia, where you're going to expect fruity coffees with a bit of a sharp taste to them. Very, very exciting coffees are coming out of that region of the world, which shouldn't surprise us. It's the general region where coffee is from originally. Let's go to Asia. Let's think about coffees from Indonesia. What are you going to get with that kind of coffee? Coffees from Indonesia tend to be rich, full-bodied. They can be even a little bit smoky, which is really interesting to think about. Another big coffee producer is Vietnam, but they produce Robusta coffee. So that's coffee that's usually going to be blended. So it's rare that you'll go to a supermarket and you'll find a bag of just Vietnamese coffee. And then just to kind of wrap this up, I just want to mention coffee from Hawaii because people always ask me about that. Kona coffee is really well known. And the thing with Hawaii is that obviously there's a lot of volcanic soil. And that rich soil produces a rich, full-body coffee, and that's what you'll expect from Kona coffee. So I hope this really brief overview helps you a little bit when you go to the supermarket, you look at the bags of coffee. But really what you need to do is just try coffees from around the world, enjoy them, and then you'll be able to decide which coffees are your favorite.